Well, as this gospel ended, when I was growing up, the feast that was celebrated on January 1st was the circumcision of Jesus, which of course to a Catholic boy made absolutely no sense. It's still a ceremony that's celebrated even today among Jews, and the name is not given to the child until the day of circumcision. So all this fits in with the Jewish tradition and what is being done even today. But since the early church, Mary has been held out as the Mother of God. I think it was around 1970 that it actually changed January 1st celebration to the Solemnity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Mother of God. It's most likely the oldest of all Marian feasts, although relatively new in our calendar of holy days of obligation. But as Father said, it's more of an identity of who Jesus is rather than Mary. Jesus has two natures, his human nature and his divine nature. They cannot be separated. Now, we're not saying that Mary created the divine nature. That's not true. God was, always will be. Remember that from your catechism. And so Mary is the mother of not just the human Jesus, because remember, the two natures of Jesus cannot be separated. At the time of the Annunciation, they became two. And Mary gave birth to Jesus, divine and human. The Greek word for it was theotokos. Theo meaning God, tokos meaning bearer or carrier. Carrier of God. So it is part of our Catholic teaching. Mary, the Mother of God. Jesus being both human and divine. Problem is, sometimes we think that at the moment of Annunciation, Mary completely understood everything. And that's not true. Even the greeting of the angel, "Hail, full of grace," she wondered what sort of greeting that might be. And in today's reading, she reflected on what the shepherds said to her. And so many times we hear it, she reflected or she pondered all these things in her heart. She did not completely understand what was happening. She didn't understand why Simeon said, "Your heart will be pierced by a sword." She didn't understand why they had to flee into Egypt, because this jealous king wanted to execute the child. She didn't understand why he stayed behind and they had to search for Jesus in Jerusalem. She didn't understand why he had to stand trial, be accused, and then be executed. The thing that, and the other thing, remember at the wedding of Cana, she went to Jesus and said, "Jesus, they have no more wine." And Jesus almost gave a flippant remark. "What is it to me? My hour hasn't come." Yet Mary went to the servants and said, "Do what he tells you," having no idea what Jesus might or might not do. So we have Mary as this great model of trust. Do what he tells you to do. Be it done unto me, according to your word. Absolute trust. And what a model that is for us after this horrible year that we just passed through, or any of the difficult situations we have in our own life. Why is this happening to us? Mary must have said that over and over. Yet her model of trust and absolute trust in God. Do what he tells you. Mary's choice is not right or wrong. It's who she was. She's a child of God, as we are children of God. And that's the important lesson for today. We know who Jesus is, both human and divine. Mary was the one who trusted absolutely in the will of God, in the plan of God. And it is so hard for us to accept that sometimes. I know it is for me. Why do I have to suffer? Why does it have to be like this? And yet, there is a plan. And the plan makes no sense to us right now. It makes sense to God. And so as Mary teaches us, have trust in God. Complete trust. There is a plan. There is a reason. And because we don't know what it is, doesn't mean it's not there and it's not a good reason. Remember, Mary followed Jesus right to the resurrection. I like this reading from Numbers today. It's Aaron's blessing upon the people. The Lord bless and keep you. The Lord let his face shine upon you. Let his face shine upon you. This is the face we're longing to see. And if we follow Mary, we will.